Hi, this is Thomas Ahrens again, and this is my second video on a structure of related musical tempos, which I call the chromatic tempos. If you use this structure systematically, you will know where to go on if you master a certain rudiment or lick or rhythm or song in a certain tempo. You will know which metronome tempo to try next in order to get faster. In my last video, I recommended to rise the tempo one step higher in my list of the chromatic tempos if you are practicing a short rudiment or if you are practicing at the border of your technical abilities. Rising the tempo one step higher in my list means rising the tempo about 1/15. I recommended rising the tempo 2 steps higher in my list if you are a beginner or if you're practicing a whole rhythm, a lick, or a whole song. Rising the tempo 2 steps higher in my list means, in this case, rising the tempo about 1/8. Now it's time to remind you of the numbers I'm talking about, the numbers of the chromatic tempo. Here you see the metronome numbers of the slowest tempo. If you want to go faster than 57 BPM, you can go back to 30 BPM and use this for the doubled note length. Or you can use the metronome numbers of this row. As you may have noticed, these numbers are mostly the numbers of the row before doubled. But there are some deviations which I marked yellow. These deviations are due to the fact that these are only rounded numbers derived from the numbers calculated with the complex formula for the temporal tuning, which I mentioned in my first video. If you want to go even faster than 113 BPM, take this row. Here all numbers that are not exact doubles of the numbers before are also marked yellow. And here comes my third recommendation. If you try a certain exercise with a metronome beat that is completely unplayable for you at this tempo, lower the tempo 4 steps on my list and try again. And if that doesn't work either, lower it 4 steps down again. Lowering the tempo 4 steps down on my list means lowering the tempo about 1/5 or 20%. I use this method also while I'm composing. Here is an example. This is a composition of mine with a tempo of 107 BPM. Now I want to play live something into my sequencer. I lower the tempo for the recording with the mentioned 4 steps, which is about the same as 1/5 or 20%. In this case, I get a tempo of 85 BPM. Thus, I can play phrases fairly precise with my keyboard, although I'm not a decent keyboard player. Then I can scrutinize my performance and then go back to the original tempo. But now for the central theme of this video. How to sort your music archive into playlists according to the chromatic tempo in order to use those songs while you are practicing rudiments, practicing music in general, and while you are practicing rhythmic sporting activities like jogging or inline skating. As I mentioned in my previous video, I practice a lot rudiments along with the beat of a song, using this beat as a substitute for a metronome beat. In order to do this, I have to be able to pick the song with the exact right tempo to practice this rudiment. And therefore, I sorted my music archive into 12 playlists according to the 12 chromatic tempos. Now I can pick the song I needed for that particular rudiment and When I practice this rudiment again the other day, I can pick the next song on the list. Practicing rudiments to songs is much less boring than practicing them to a metronome beat. Plus, while you are practicing, you are listening close to music, and listening close to music is essential for becoming a better musician. Here you see my DJ software, which is Native Instruments Tractor DJ3. Of course, you can use any other DJ software, even a free one, as long as this software can display the correct tempos of the songs. On the left, you see my playlists according to my system of chromatic tempos. There are 12 playlists. Each one contains songs of a certain tempo range. The first one, for example, contains all songs around 57 BPM, the 12th number of my list. It contains all songs from the middle between 57 and 60 BPM down to the middle between 54 and 57. But it contains also all songs between these BPM numbers doubled and fourfolded. I don't use any songs with a triplet, swing or 16th note shuffle feel. Also, I avoid songs with odd meters, heaped meter changes and songs with a swaying or changing tempo. The log pictures on the far left indicates that I corrected the BPM number the software has analyzed. Often I had to double or half this number. As you also may have noticed, I sorted the songs downward from the fastest to the slowest. On top are the fastest songs with the fourfold BPM numbers, followed by the mid-tempo songs and the slow songs at the end. Why did I do that? Well, I start to practice to the song on the top of the list. Then I make notes about which song I had practiced to. Here is a list of my notes. As I go on, the numbers increase and the tempo decrease slightly. This helps me to stay motivated because thus my technical progress appears slightly faster than it actually is. I use the songs in list E, 45 BPM, also for jogging. That means that I run exactly in the rhythm of the songs. Here you see me jogging to the song L'anno dell'amore from Zucchero. It has 90 BPM and I am running with 180 steps per minute. This is the recommended pace for runners according to medical professionals, no matter whether you are a slow occasional jogger or a professional marathonist. With this pace, you conserve the health of your knees. In addition to that, I use barefoot shoes, as you can see, which is also good for your knees. Every next song in the list has either exact the same tempo or it is slightly slower than the one before. This promotes my endurance. Here you see me inline skating to a song from list H, 38 BPM. This is the song Didn't I from Darondo. It has 74.9 BPM and this is exact the pace I am skating to. But for skating I can also use songs with 150 BPM or even 300 BPM. Always my pace is around 75 steps per minute. In my next video I will show you some exercises I'll practice to a beat of 45 BPM and to songs of this particular tempo. Songs I find in my playlist E, the playlist I mentioned, the playlist which I also use for jogging. This gives you a practical idea of what I'm talking about.